Hey everyone, hi, it's Thursday, and I want to tell you that I'm doing a snack prep. So let's go. I know a lot of people do meal prep demos, and I haven't seen anybody do a snack prep, so I want to do something different that I think is actually a lot more practical because there's always in between meal snacking, and when you're on a fitness program and you want to stay disciplined, which is not easy, especially if you're like me and you love chocolate or any other kinds of refined sugar. I admit I'm a chocolate and other refined sugar freak, and I'm not talking about just dark chocolate, I'm talking about milk chocolate. I love the lusciousness of it, and it's just fun to eat. But I'm disciplined, and I'm on a lifetime program. Doesn't mean I don't have my cheat days, but I limit that to at the most, at very most, once a week. So let's go. Okay, I have 20 of these BPA free meal prep containers. They're plastic but BPA free. So they're perfectly fine, and they're a snap to close and open. I have prepared ahead of time chopped mangoes. Okay, these are really difficult to find if you're looking for unsweetened dried mangoes. I did find these at a health supermarket because those types of markets are the only places that I shop probably 99.5% of the time. So let's start with these dried mangoes. But even if you can find dried unsweetened mangoes, because mangoes are already sweetened by themselves, and then when fruit is dehydrated, all the sugar actually concentrates. So you don't want any added sugars because dried fruit is going to be extra sweet on its own, and I love it. Okay, so again, when you do finally find unsweetened dried mangoes, they always come in spears, and if they do come chopped in tiny little bite-sized cubes, then they're usually sugared. So what I did is I took them and I started cutting them into these bite-sized pieces. And I've also added some options. I have a pumpkin spice mix, which is really good. It has cinnamon, pumpkin, clove, lemon, and a few other goodies in it, which is absolutely delicious. I usually add this to my organic coffee in the mornings, and it actually really ramps up the taste of the coffee, and it also makes it extra healthy, of course. And then I have Vietnamese cinnamon. Vietnamese cinnamon is always a little sweeter, and I have organic cloves that adds a little bit of a Mediterranean twist. Optional is black pepper, and I do it fresh, so you can mill it like this and then add it like this. To me, this is very delicious. And if you like it spicy, there's also pico de gallo. Mangoes. Step 2. I have, for my nuts, for the trail mix that I've made for this snack, I'm using organic, unsalted, simply roasted pistachios. And that's going to be the main element right here. These are not chopped, they are whole, but they are shelled. And again, the main thing is they're roasted, so they are extra delicious, and I believe that roasting also brings out the nutrients a little bit more, and that's what you want. You want as much nutrients as possible. And in the third section, you have the option of raisins, cranberries. I've chosen prunes because prunes are extra sweet on their own. So I'm going to cut these. Because I found that living in LA, if you can't find it here, you probably can't find it anywhere else in Southern California or in California at all. And that is chopped, dried, unsweetened prunes. Okay, I love plums, but plums are sometimes tart. Now, as a good option, you can also use dried cherries, and I have managed to find from the same company dried cherries, and of course they're in tiny little pieces because when cherries are dehydrated they shrink, and they are even smaller than this. So fast forwarding, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the cinnamon, the pumpkin spice to all of it. That was a lot. The cloves, a little bit of black pepper, and how do you open? Okay, so there we go, and we're going to freshly grind it into our snack right here. And I do love the spice, so a little bit of spice. Pure organic wipes for quick cleanups. I said this was a snap to close, and it is. Give it a good shake for the spices, and there you have it. Snack prep. Hey everyone, it's Thursday. Thanks for being here, and I have something absolutely amazingly good for you guys, and here it is. So you've seen the trend with the online demos for meal prep. What I'm going to do today, which I personally haven't seen done at all, is snack prep. And I think that's actually even more practical in many ways, because there's always in between meal snacking. So as disciplined as I am, as serious as I am about my fitness regime, and I've made it a lifetime plan, and I think that a lot of people are, it takes discipline. But you know me, I love milk chocolate and other refined sugars. They're delicious, they're fun to eat, and you know what? Who can resist? But I'll tell you this, all that sugar adds up, and it does tend to sabotage your fitness and holistic health plans. So what I've done is I've thought of snack prep, and I've gone ahead and prepared a little bit of this, and I'll take you guys through it step by step. Okay? Okay, step one, choose your ingredients. Let's go. I have here dried unsweetened mangoes, dried unsweetened whole cranberries. I have dried unsweetened plums, which are also called prunes, of course. And I have roasted unsalted organic pistachios. That's the raw nuts that I've chosen for this snack prep, because I love pistachios, and they tend to be a very lower level allergen for those who might have any nut allergies. Alternatively, you can also choose peanuts. Peanuts are not a nut. They're actually a legume. So it's up to you. And I have some wonderful options here. There's a pumpkin spice mix, organic cloves, Vietnamese cinnamon, organic fresh black pepper, and if you like spice in your life, there's pico de gallo. I'm going to add all of these options. It's going to add an absolutely delicious twist to your weekly snack. And it's also most importantly going to ramp up the health factor, because all of these spices are great for your metabolism. They'll up your metabolism, but they have a lot of nutritional value as well if you're trying to lower your sugar levels. I'm very healthy, so I am fortunate in that way. But if you are a type 1 or type 2 diabetic, these are excellent options for naturally lowering your sugar. And if you do it on a consistent basis, it will actually work better for your A1C. Okay, now we're ready to go on to the next step, which is actually very easy. I've gone ahead to the steps, and I found that when it comes to dried fruit, I do it because it's chewy and it adds a lot of great texture and sweetness to my all-natural roasted trail mix. One thing I make sure is that it's unsweetened dried fruit, because when you have any type of dried fruit, any dehydrated fruit is always more concentrated in the sugar. So you don't need added sugar of any type, not even honey. Mangoes are sweet on their own, especially when they're dried, they become even sweeter. Living in California, it's really difficult to find unsweetened dried mangoes, but I only shop at health markets probably 99.9% of the time. And I never give up. I search and search until I find what I like. So here are unsweetened mangoes, but here's the caveat. They always, most of the time at least, come in spears. I've never seen them chopped up or in little manageable pieces. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've chopped them up with sharp scissors, and I keep these scissors only for food prep, and I always wipe them before I wash them just to make sure that they are all the way clean. So you can very quickly just chop them into pieces, and once I have a layer sliced up, what I like to do is go ahead and add my ground spices. I'm going to add very little because there's already some in here that I've added. And I add them all, and that also keeps them from sticking together, so it's also a practical move. I've done that with the prunes, and I've also done that with the cherries. Great, now we're on to the next step, and that's adding your raw nuts of choice. And always make sure that they are raw, roasted, and unsalted. You'll never miss the salt. Actually, they're going to be salty tasting anyways. So what I've done is I have roasted, unsalted, whole shelled pistachios. These tend to be lower in allergens as well. So I'm adding these here. They don't need to be chopped. They're small enough and therefore manageable. Okay. And if you like, you can add your spices to that mix as well, but I've just left them alone. And I have about 30 of these BPA plastic meal prep containers. These I really like a lot because they're almost literally a snap to open and close as well. And of course, they're stackable, they're attractive, they're practical, and I'm going to keep them in the fridge. I like to keep my snacks chilled, and that keeps them fresher longer throughout the week. And even one platter is going to last you, I think, for several snackings anyways. So once I'm done, I snap the lid on. There you have it. All right, guys, next and almost final step. Once I've added everything I want to add, I'm going to give it a good shake with the lid firmly and securely on. Give it a good shake. And you do this to make sure that you've combined the added spices really well. Okay. And I also have my trusty pure organic wet wipes. This is great for a quick countertop cleanup or cleanup anywhere really. I go through these so quickly. I love them. I also like the EO brand, essential oils brand of lavender wipes, but I happen to have these today. So there is your snack prep for the week, and I find these so delicious, and they do knock off my refined sugar cravings. But of course, I'm going to have those cheat days, but I limit those to at very, very most once a week. Thanks, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful and amazing weekend.